Trevs Hockey Show. I'm the Trev. Sweet. Anyway, this is something I thought of doing while I was A, making my last Stanley Cup prediction video, and B, watching the Stanley Cup playoffs. And this one really hurt my brain to remember as far back as I tried to remember in this one. But I've been watching the Stanley Cup finals and essentially been watching hockey since 1987. Yeah. And since then, I've been, when it's gotten to be that time, I've given my pick for Stanley Cup winner every year. And I'm not gonna lie, remembering from 88 on, it's pretty simple. 87 I actually had to look up. There was a couple years where I had to look up who the finalist was. With Pittsburgh it was a little confusing if it was Chicago or Minnesota or vice versa. But I compiled my picks to win the Stanley Cup since 1987. Let's go over it. Let me know what you think. So my first Cup final was 1987. And you could say it was brainwash. You know, growing up in Edmonton, being young and impressionable, being told, hey, you like the Oilers. So naturally I picked the Oilers, not knowing any better, but not a bad start, 1-0. The 88 final, to me, on a level beyond hockey, means a few different things. But what I'll remember most from it was the Fog game, which was supposed to be Game 4. That was fun to watch on live TV. But I picked the Oilers to win that one, 2-0. The thing I remember most about the 89 final was it was pretty much the inspiration where the name for my youngest brother came from. But I picked the Flames to win that one. So I'm running a perfect 3-0 in my first 3 Stanley Cup finals. And then we start experiencing loss. So for 1990, this is where I made the mistake of betting hockey cards on games, more specifically series. And I picked the Bruins to win. Because I mean, really, first Cup final without Gretzky, there was no way the Oilers were winning. I was wrong. What a surprise, right? My first loss. The 91 final is actually one of my favorite finals. From early on, my earliest memories of watching hockey. It was more just because of Mario. I always thought Mario was a great player to watch, so seeing him in a Cup final, yeah. And the thing I remember most about that series was how rabid the crowd in Pittsburgh was. More or less because I think they knew that it was just theirs, all they had to do was win it. But it was a great series to watch. I enjoyed it. I picked Pittsburgh, so I'm back on the winning track, 4-1. So for 92, I picked Pittsburgh again. More or less because it was essentially the same set of guys that won the Cup the previous year. And as good as Chicago was, with Belfour in net, with Chelios, with Rowanek, with all those guys, Pittsburgh was better. This is more than just Lemieux and Jagger. It was also Francis, Tocchet, Trottier was still there. The list goes on and on and on. But another win. For 93, I thought with my heart and not with my head. I picked LA to win that. It was more so because I wanted to see Gretzky win a Cup outside of Edmonton. He'd already won 4. Number 5 was eluding him. And I thought 93 was the year he was going to do it. No. Kings folded faster than Superman on laundry day. And Gretzky didn't win Cup 5. 94, I picked the Rangers. And the story behind that was the series before when Messier said, we're winning. We'll win. I believed it. I believed it all the way to the Cup final. And they won. I also remember Mike Richter really came into his own, just stood on his head. He wanted that cup bad, and the Rangers got it. It was good to see them finally break that curse from 1940. Pick the Rangers, and I am officially 6-2. For 95, I picked Detroit. For 95, everybody picked Detroit. For 95, everybody lost. In 4, the Devils swept the Red Wings. So that was a loss. 6-3. But we learned something from this. Don't ever count out Cinderella. For 96, it wasn't a question of if Colorado would win, it would be a question of how many games it would take them to win. And it was only 4. Game 4 went to double overtime, I believe it was. Could be triple. But it went to multiple overtimes, and Yui Krupp scored the winner. I remember that. It was one of those things, it's like they just moved from Quebec the season prior and they just won the cup. Almost bittersweet in a sense. '97. It was fun to see Hextall back in net in Philly. It's like he was just there in '87. Now he's here in '97. So a nice little 10-year window. It was nicer to see Detroit win though. And I picked Detroit. So I came out on the winning side on that one. 8-4. Oh, sorry, I'm ahead of myself. 8-3. But there was a lot of good players on that Detroit team for years. And that was just the start. So again, another one of those thought with my head, not with my heart moments. I wanted to see Washington win. I was just coming into being a fan of the team, and to see them go all the way to the Cup Finals, even though they got lost in 4, it was a nice thing to see. Unfortunately, it would be a long time till you saw it again. It took me jumping off the wagon to do it, but I thought it would. No goal. I picked Dallas. A lot of people picked Buffalo. I went with a sure thing. That took me to 9-4. So I'm doing pretty good on picks thus far. That was a great series. Both teams were super competitive. Both teams had the winning edge. Both teams had the drive. Both teams had great goaltending and super defense. Detroit had Jason Arnott. And I picked the loss. I took the Stars. I thought the Stars were going to go back-to-back. Unfortunately, they changed the foot in the crease rule, and yeah. It might have counted even then, but we weren't anywhere near that. But took the loss. It happens. So on top of being Bork's final year, it was also like the Stanley Cup series before it. Super competitive between 2 super tough teams. And there were moments where you thought Jersey was going to win it, but Colorado did, and I picked Colorado to win. So back in the winning ways, 10-5. Gotta admit, Carolina was in deep. Too many Hall of Famers on that Detroit team for Carolina to contend with. And yeah, I went with a sure thing. I picked Detroit on that one. If I'm not mistaken, that series won me some money, which is never a bad thing. As fun as it was to see the contrast in styles in this series, the biggest takeaway is that when Stevens laid Korea out, And Korea came back and scored the overtime winner. It's too bad it didn't translate, but I did pick Jersey to win. Although it was one circumstance where I would have been okay with being wrong if Anaheim won it. Just wait a couple of years. That Game 6 argument is going to rage for some time. I picked Calgary to win that. I think a lot of people picked Calgary to win that. If they would have looked at the play, Calgary might have won that. But Tampa did. Lockout wins. Nobody wins. For 06, I took the loss. I went for the Oilers. But only because I lost a bet. The bet was if the Ducks lost the Western Conference Finals to the Oilers, then I would have to cheer for the Oilers. But if the Ducks won, the guy from work would pay me $50. Well, Oilers lost, and I cheered for them for 6 games. But as soon as the ice on Carolina's arena in Game 7 said Destiny, I kind of believed it. So I welched on that bet on the last game. Come on, the 07 Ducks, automatic picks the day they acquired Chris Pronger. So why not take the Ducks? You're not going to lose. So I took the Ducks. In 2008, I was willing to take the loss, so I picked the Red Wings. Thankfully, I didn't have to take the loss. That's a great thing. So for 09, same thing as 08. Ready to take the loss if I have to. Unfortunately, this time I did. Can't win them all. But it's not the first time I'm going to lose to Pittsburgh. Probably not the last. 2010, I wasn't even in the city for the final game. I was in a truck stop in Calgary, watching it on a small TV, but following it along in overtime nonetheless. And I did pick the Blackhawks to win that one. So really, I'm not doing too bad so far. As long as the Penguins stay out of the cup, we're doing great. As I'm talking right now, I'm 15-8. So not bad at all. 2011, I don't care what anybody says. This was always meant to be a Bruins Cup win. And they didn't disappoint. It took them 7 games to do it. But they didn't disappoint. What happened afterwards is another story for another time. I remember picking the Kings to win it all in the second round. Yeah, they were 8th seed. Yeah, they weren't supposed to go as far as they did, but they did. And won it convincingly, might I add. So yeah, I picked the Kings. As we're sitting 18-9. So pretty good record. Better than most predictions. 2013 was funny. The final game of the series. I picked Boston to win this, by the way. Final game of the series. I don't remember what I was doing, but I'm coming home. I turn on the computer, I'm streaming CBC, and Chicago scores to tie the game. Taking off my shoes, Chicago scores to take the lead. And not even a minute later, the game's over. What a time to get home, right? Just to see the team you picked lose the cup in a matter of minutes. But fun to watch, as brief as I caught it. Overtime's a fun way to end any series, right? And that's a memory that'll last Martinez a lifetime. I picked the Kings. I wanted to pick the Rangers. I really did. I wanted to at least say, well, it'd be nice to see Henrik win a cup. But I picked the Kings. Because I want to see them win another one. It's fun watching them the first time. Let's see them win it again. Sticking to winning. Tampa was good. Chicago was better. There's no disputing that at all. And yeah, I picked Chicago. I wanted to go with a sure thing. Yeah, I kind of thought Tampa was going to make it competitive. But Chicago won it pretty easily, I might say. There's no way I was taking the Penguins. So I gladly accepted the L on this one. See previous year's statement. I lost this one too. As fun as it was to see an expansion team in the Cup final, it was a bit more reality to me to see the Capitals in the Cup final as well, with a very realistic chance of winning it, which they did, which made me incredibly happy. Yeah, I picked the Capitals. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? I picked the Bruins. Even had a jersey brought in just in time for game one to rep for this whole series. And I lost. But so far to date, it's my 12th and last loss to date. I'm sure I'll expand on that in time, but if that's my last loss, I'm okay with that. Very interesting Cup final, to say the least. But thankful we had one. And thankful Tampa won. Puts my record at 21-12 at this point. It was different. I mean, I'm sure if this was under normal circumstances, it might be a different story, but you really can't change what is the now, so that's one. I would have gladly took the L on this one too. So naturally, I was going to say Tampa. And they won. So, to answer this question, which has taken me 17 minutes, I hope I haven't lost anybody. I do pretty good at predicting the Stanley Cup winner with a record of 22-12. So that's how well I've predicted. And that's how my predictions have gone since 1987. So that's another one of Trevs Hockey Shows. I thank you for tuning in. Don't think I don't appreciate the gesture, especially if you're here at 18 minutes and 6 seconds. It's a long time for me to ask, but if you've watched this whole thing in its entirety, hit that like button. Let me know. Hit that subscribe button too if you want to. You know, because subscribing makes you feel good. We're making our way to 100. Let's do it. My socials in the description down below. Moving forward. Well, I've got a whole book of ideas sitting right in front of me. I've got 4 that are ready to go if I want to pull the trigger on any one of those, which I probably will. But either way, in the meantime, in between time, be looking for more videos from Trev. Later.